Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Mark here with the Better Mark. Let's get into the Week 1 Sunday NFL games. We're going to run the board, kind of go over what happened Thursday Night Football, Friday Night Football. Really exciting matchups, and I think both games had great outcomes. But we're going to break down what's going on today in my look ahead lines and kind of my preview for Week 1 NFL. This is where I did give out a lot of these picks, but we have four more that I'm going to add to the card here, where I feel like we wanted to wait until Sunday, and these will be kind of picks that I'm on as well. So I'm going to share these with you guys right here on the channel. All right, so before we do get into it, make sure you guys, if you have not done so, subscribe down below, smash that like button, and always leave your picks down below in the comments, okay? But this is where we're looking into, and I'll pull up the odds jam here for this kind of breakdown. If you haven't been using odds jam to make any picks, make sure you guys all check out my link down below in the description, because this is something that I use, and it's one of the betting tools that I use on a daily basis that, quite frankly, if you're not using it, you're at a disadvantage, especially when we have the fast-paced live betting and NFL season upon us, okay? But let's look into that first game, and I am going to just kind of briefly run through some of these narratives, and then I'll talk more in depth about the games that I'm actually going to have plays on. But this is where we have a play that I gave out with the under 43 we took earlier in the week with Atlanta. We now have news that Russell Wilson is not playing. I'm sorry, with a hamstring, and that Justin Fields will start. Wilson may play, but Fields is going to be starting in this contest. So for all those bets out there on will Justin Fields or Russell Wilson start Week 1 for the Steelers, that's a little bit of a curveball, but that's what we have going on. I think the money coming in on +4 for the Steelers is kind of a little bit, I don't want to say it's a little bit too early, but I just don't trust it, right? All I do trust is that this number going down is the way that I bet it. I took the under 43, and that's what we're seeing now in the market. I know that Kirk Cousins and that revitalized Atlanta offense, that's going to be fantastic to watch, but not so fast. It's Week 1. Steelers come to town, and this is where I think the value would be. On Pittsburgh, I do agree with that, +4. Not too many times you're going to find that, but I just want to see Pittsburgh kind of get into what they're doing in the season before I start laying them with the spread, because quite frankly, nobody really knows right now. Nobody knows what a Justin Fields Pittsburgh Steelers offense will look like. It could be high flying, or it could just be a dud, and then we get a low scoring kind of grind out game, which I do kind of expect just from taking what I know that Steelers are good for from last year's data. Okay, the second game that we're going to talk about, this will be within the lines of Arizona and Buffalo. This will be another game that we are going to have a play in. Okay, this one I just added to my card. I'm going to pull it up for you guys so you can see it, and we are going to attack this one a little differently. There's a lot of people getting on Arizona, and now in this you have to understand what's happening right now. There's a lot of people it's a trendy underdog right now, and I agree. Nobody kind of wants to get behind a Buffalo team that has no Stephon Diggs, and I agree with that kind of for the most part, but that may actually end up being a good thing when it's all said and done. So I'm just not ready to anoint the crown right now, where we're just going to give the Bills in the kind of what success they've had in the AFC East. I'm just not ready to give up that throne yet. It's the same story. They got to get past Mahomes. The defense took a big blow, and I'm not ready to give Kyler Murray the keys back at Arizona as well. I understand they bring in Marvin Harrison Jr., but still, let's wait a little bit on them. And I do think that there's a statistic worth throwing out there. Buffalo 16-0. I just saw it today on the NFL Network. In games that Josh Allen does not turn over the football. Okay, so that's a take-home message right there. I love James Cook. I think we're going to see a different new-look Buffalo Bills team. Maybe take a little Josh Allen anytime touchdown prop, but this is where we're going to be on the Buffalo Bills -3.5 in that first half. I think they come out strong. I'm not ready to take that Arizona +7, and I don't want to lay the full 7 for the whole game, but I am going to get on the first half. I think that Buffalo tries to send a message early, and it wouldn't shock me. A little West goes East. Bills fans are going to be crazy. Games being played outside, that Buffalo takes in a lead at halftime where they're up at least 4. So that's going to be one of my best bets that I'm giving out. That will be at a price of -110. Okay. Another new game that I added to the card, and they're kind of just one after another here on this 1 o'clock slate. This will be Tennessee and Chicago. Okay. Tennessee is a very trendy dog, +4.5 now. A lot of sharp plays on Tennessee. That's a huge inflow of money that we're seeing on Tennessee. However, we're seeing this line now up to 4.5 in some places for the Tennessee Titans. So it's kind of an interesting kind of reverse line movement that we're getting, and that's kind of what I want to look for when we do look to bet games. Why are we having smart bettors taking Tennessee, but Chicago's numbers getting more and more and more? Okay, now that's only in some places. You will see a 3.5, 4, or 4.5 all over the place. Depends where you're shopping around at, but this is kind of where you're seeing an overwhelming amount of the bets are on Chicago, but a little bit more of the money is on Tennessee when we actually break it down, and that's just something where I don't want to bet this game yet. Rookie quarterbacks, we've talked about that. Week 1 against the spread, in quarterbacks that were taken, I think, first overall. So it's something where we've had a horrible stretch within that trend, and I think the trend continues. I do like Tennessee plus 4.5. I'm just not going to bet it. I wanted to tell you guys, though, that is a very trendy underdog play, taking Tennessee with the 4.5 on the road. Okay. Also, I am kind of a fan of the under in this game. You could find it right now at 44.5. And this is a game where we're going to get a little bit of wind in Chicago. So look for some value on the under as well. 44.5. You can take it juiced up 45 if you find it out there in the market. So shop around. And that's kind of the beauty of Odds Jam. So make sure you use my link down below and click that to sign up. Don't let the NFL season get underway before not adding Odds Jam to your repertoire and arsenal within your sports betting. Okay. But this is kind of where we have the next game. That's going to be one where we want to wait till kickoff. Okay. I want to know what's happening with Jamar Chase. I want to know T. Higgins, even some rumors with that. Will the Bengals be at full strength? I still think you lay the 7.5 right now with the Bengals hosting the New England Patriots. I think that's where the money's going to be at. I really think the New England Patriots might be A, the lowest scoring team in the NFL this season, and B, the worst record in the NFL this season. So that's kind of how I view this game. I'm going to wait till kickoff because if we do get a late game inactive, I could see this number dip below 7. I still would like Cincinnati, but I still want to wait and get the best of the number because, quite frankly, Cincinnati minus 7.5, that's going to be the best teaser leg out there. It's going to be the most popular, most bet. I think, public bet out there on the board, but I do think the 7.5 stand for something. So if you see that 7.5, I really have no problem laying Cincinnati at full strength to win by 10 against New England. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at in that game. And then the next game I want to talk about is the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, let's look at this one. Another little storyline here for you guys. The Colts have not won a home opener dating back to Andrew Luck. Okay, you have to go back that far to find a game where the Indianapolis Colts have won in their home opener. I'm kind of the Joe on the streets on this one. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I like the Houston Texans. I don't like giving Anthony Richardson the keys back to the throne. I think if Gardner Minshew was playing for the Colts, sure, we'll go with that. But I didn't like how he threw the ball in the preseason. That's something that's very sketch. Just going to be honest with you, you don't really fix that in a week or two time. I think this is where the Texans come in on the road. A lot of steam. They got Diggs, they got Mixon, revamped. Defense is going to be full blast. I just like the Texans here. I don't agree with the line movement. I think this is one where it's people trying to get too cute. The Colts, I don't trust them. I don't trust Richardson. I know they have Pittman on out wide, but I think they're going to be able to be handled by the Texans. And then we see this total at 48.5, 49. So we'll see what happens, but I really don't agree with this movement that we're seeing away from the Texans here. Away from the opening number here because it quite frankly, it just doesn't make sense. I want to pull up something for you guys to see on your screen. Actually, I'll just talk about it. But yeah, so this number, you can still find threes out there, which is crazy. So taking Houston up, that is a great teaser leg for you guys that are into that. I just quite frankly don't understand it. I know it's a very, very weird kind of deal. We're seeing a lot of the money on Texans too. But for some reason, the odds makers here will not give up that 3. They're sticking on it. So kind of very interesting line. I think this is the most interesting game of the card in terms of how the numbers are playing out, okay? Because me sitting here right in front of you guys today, I'm all about the Texans. I think this is one of my favorite plays of the day. I just wanted to wait and see exactly where we went to, but that's kind of where we're going to be at in terms of this game. I was able to bet Houston on the money line at minus 133 a little earlier in the week, so that's kind of what I'm locked in at. But I still like the Texans. Getting 3 points even in some places, it's just crazy. So I'm sorry. The Texans are not getting 3 points. They're -3. The odds jam's kind of showing some weird sites. Sometimes it does not update. But yeah, that's where we take the Texans -3. I like them all the way up to 3, and I probably would tease them across to 0 as well if you do think there's going to be some fishy business go on with this divisional game. But I just don't see it. I think the Texans roll in the spot. All right, next game out there is the Jaguars-Miami. I do want to take some time to kind of get into this one briefly. I don't have an official play, but my lean in this spot would be taking the under. The Jags are the sharper side, but I do like Miami. I think Miami is kind of where I'm at. Divisional dogs on the road. This is where we're going to look into that system. You get Jacksonville +4. And it's Miami. It's not a divisional dog, I should say, but it's something where we look into this game, and it's very, very interesting to see these two teams go against each other because this could be a kind of a precursor to what we get in the postseason, and it's just very interesting to see how Vic Fangio leaving Miami. What's that going to look like? I just don't understand it, quite frankly. When we talk about what Miami's going to be able to do, is this going to be a 50-plus game? I think all odds are going to be on the over, but for some reason, I just think this is a kind of little stay-away game for me. I want to see what Tua looks like after getting paid, so we're going to look at this. I'm going to lean towards the under and Jacksonville +4. I think Trevor Lawrence has a great year, but I'm just going to stay away from it because I do like Miami to win the game. I think the 4 points with Jacksonville is enough. So that's kind of how I view that. All right, and then there's a couple other games worth talking about. Obviously a lean within the Saints-Panthers to the under. That number has moved a little bit, but 42 towards the under. That's a great dance partner. I don't normally tease totals, but that's something where you could get into this week one. I think some of these totals are just a little bit too low. So I think the odds makers think that we're going to see not a lot of points across the board for this NFL opener. Okay. And then the game that I want to tell you guys about that's really interesting is the Raiders +3. Okay, this is something where I think that I want to see what Harbaugh can do in LA. I like the Raiders +3. I think they still have the weapons. You talk about Gardner Minshew. As long as Devonta Adams' head's on his shoulders and he wants to play football, I think that the Raiders are live in this game. I think that, we look at kind of the style of football and the brand the Raiders play. I think that's equipped enough where they're going to be able to handle this running offense that the Chargers are going to implement. I think this is one where we get a low-scoring game as well. I think the total at 40.5 is set there for a reason. That's just kind of where I'm at. I could see both of these teams not scoring points, and Harbaugh might have a shaky week one. It's very interesting to see what this Chargers team looks like without the likes of Austin Eckler for the first time in a long time. And like I said, this is something where they run the ball more, okay? They're going to run the ball more. But I do like the Raiders getting that field goal on the road if I was going to bet this game, okay? The other really trendy pick out there that we didn't talk about too much in the previous video is going to be Seattle -5.5. Quite frankly, I'm not behind that. I'm going to stay away from this game. Kind of like Bo Nix, but staying away from the rookies in week one, even though we could get a 7 out there in the market if you do shop around. All right. And then the other card play that I did add to my card, we are going to take the Cleveland Browns. Went back and looked at Cleveland Browns statistics at home versus road. You see what they're able to do. I think that defense is going to be amped up. It's a little bit chilly day. Get Dak Prescott out in the cold. If you look at his game log and his numbers against the Browns and what he was able to do in that same game against the Browns last year, absolutely shut down. Okay, shut down. He looked horrible. QBR was down low. Horrible game for Dak. I think that's where we see all the same. I think that Cleveland's going to be able to play their brand of football at home in front of their fans. And we do get a Cleveland Browns victory here. I'm not going to lay the -1.5. I don't do that ever. But we are going to take -127. Also, condolences to Deshaun Watson. If you guys heard, I think his father passed yesterday or something. So that's something where I think that they're going to get behind their quarterback and they're going to play inspired. And Cleveland gets a win at home, -127. Okay. Next, no other play. Like I said, I'm staying away from rookies in week one, so we are going to get away from the Washington-Tampa Bay game. I do think that Tampa Bay is going to roll. Baker will have a great year. And like I said, Jaden Daniels, like I said, stay away quarterback. Rookies in week one, just no value. even though that +4 is very, very tempting with that Washington Commanders squad. But then the last play we did add, we are going to talk about it. That is going to be just a pick, and I will kind of do a breakdown for this Sunday night football game in its entirety. But the Rams Lions, okay, I am adding the Lions to my card -3 at a 133 number. This is something where I'm going to get that hook off the board. I don't know what the Rams are going to look like without the likes of Aaron Donald, okay? And I think the Lions at home, Michigan fans off a loss, they're going to be riled up. You heard the fans at game day yesterday chanting Jared Goff's name. The Detroit Lions are pissed. They want to get a chance at the Super Bowl. They're going to come into this game, I think, clicking and look for that offense to really kind of get into the Rams business. And I don't really trust like I said, that Rams defense, that they're able to stop the Detroit Lions here and that they're equipped to do so, especially in week 1. Okay, so I am going to I'm going to get that hook out of the way just in case, give ourselves an option to push. I don't usually buy points, but in this situation, I do like it. So I will take Detroit -3 at a 133 number. That will be my last bet I add to the card. And then also Monday Night Football, we're going to talk about the Jets-San Francisco game in its entirety. I did give a pick earlier in the week where I do like the 49ers -3.5. I think this number should be at least 4. I think the Jets are going to play really good defense. That's kind of why I think that we're seeing that number like that. But after the good news within the 49ers, getting their guys signed back into the fold, I'm all over the 49ers in that game. So that'll wrap it up. I do want to pull up kind of my final plays here. You can see kind of what we did earlier in the week. Gave out Baltimore first half. I was all over the Eagles on the under. We did also have an official play within taking the Eagles on the spread, money line, all that good stuff. So we did cash some bets in the Eagles, but when I did my original opening lines, the Eagles were a play where I gave out my 5-pack, and the under 49 was one of those plays. So we do have a couple games left where I got 7 left on the board, so we'll see what happens. Always fun kicking off this NFL season. So hope you all are doing well. Good luck with your picks. Let's cash some tickets, and stay tuned for that Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football that will be dropping on the channel. Make sure you guys subscribe down below, smash that like button, and always have that notification bell firmly turned on so you never miss a beat when I drop that video. So thanks again for watching. Good luck with your picks, and we'll see you guys all in the next one.